Welcome. Hello. So I'm Debbie Lichter, founder of Freedom Embodied Academy, and I cannot wait to chat with you today about something. So I want you to imagine that you wake up tomorrow morning and none of the beliefs that you have, none of the attachments that you have, none of the story that you have is there. You're just completely blank. You don't have the same obsessions, you don't have the same addictions, you don't have the same patterns. Everything is fresh and new. You open your eyes and everything is fresh and new. A totally new you. When you imagine that, what comes up for you? Honestly, what comes up for you? Because this whole week, I was speaking with so many people, especially in my Freedom Clarity calls, and I kept on hearing this reoccurring theme this week of, I'm so sick and tired of my story. I'm so ready. I'm so done with this story. But then as soon as that person says that, then all this fear comes up. Fear of what that even means, fear of the unknown, fear of being vulnerable, fear of being visible, fear of failing, fear of that not being possible. And so I'm really curious for you, are you in this conversation of, oh my gosh, I am so sick and tired of my story and I really, really want a new story. I want to experience a new level of freedom. Hey, Pam, I want to experience a new level of inner lightness. I want to experience a new level of ease, but I don't even know if that's possible. If that's where you are, then stick around in this video today because we are talking about absolutely how that is possible and exactly what you want to do to take your first few steps on that path. And it's so beautiful, Pam, that you are on this call because on this video because it reminds me of the women who are in Freedom Embodied Academy who've just been through this transformative experience, this transformative retreat that we went on, and we all connected on a call this past week. And as we were all listening to each other, we could tell, like, each woman was stepping into a new version of herself. Each woman had a completely new experience of life, and patterns and attachments and resentments and fears and stories that had been running them their entire lives had been fallen away. And so it is possible. It's totally, totally possible. And what I want to share today in today's conversation with you is what you want to focus on. If you find yourself in that place of saying, I am so ready to be done with this. I am so ready for a new story. I'm sick and tired of talking about things and not taking action. I'm sick and tired of feeling like a fraud. I'm sick and tired of feeling incongruent. Then I want to share with you what those things are that you can start doing right away to get on your path of freedom, to get on your path of embodied freedom, because that's really what we're talking about here. Having that internal sense of lightness, having that sense of carefreeness that is embodied freedom, that ease inside. So let's dive in. And as I share these things, I would love for you, if you are with me here and if you want to be courageous, you want to be brave, just post in the comments what story are you so ready to give up, or what obsession or what addiction or what pattern are you just so ready to change? I know it can be a little bit vulnerable to even call it out, but I promise you, actually getting honest and calling it out and saying, this is it, and getting it out of that kind of that shadowy guilt, blame, shame, I should be able to fix this on my own kind of thing. When we actually speak it out into space, it already starts to alchemize a shift. So you can start to alchemize that shift just by commenting on this page, in the video. And if you feel like Pam, you feel like you have just passed through this threshold and you are now experiencing an entirely new experience of yourself, then share that too. Because I think a lot of people want to hear that. They want to hear some hope and some inspiration. Okay, so let's dive in. So the very first thing that you want to stop doing if you are really, really committed to changing your story, to having a new experience, to stepping on your path of freedom and lightness and ease, is to stop using the same tools that got you to where you are right now. So one of my dear, dear friends, Felicia Searcy, always says, you are a perfect match for your current results. You're a perfect match for your current results. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your attitudes, your attachments, your patterns is a perfect match for what's happening right now. And that's totally cool if you want to continue to have more of the same. But if you're still alive, then life is still expressing itself through you, and the chances are that you're wanting to continue to grow and expand and evolve. And so it follows that we can't use the same tools and thoughts and beliefs and patterns that got us to where we are. We need a new set of tools. And so that is the first thing that you want to just acknowledge, is that, you know, people come to me all the time and they're like, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. And I really get that, because I thought that a lot too. Yeah, Pam, I hear you, absolutely. I really, really thought that too. But here's the thing, is that, do we really know what to do? Because here's what I find. I find that actually a real next level way of considering life is that we actually don't know, is to actually approach this whole thing with a not knowing, with a question, with an openness to maybe gain insight or access to insight that is beyond our current, you know, mental construct of, you know, the intelligence in our current mental construct, in our current paradigm that we're living in. Maybe there is an intelligence that is greater than the intelligence that is defining our current paradigm. And so the first thing that you want to do is just consider that, and consider, am I willing to just set aside these tools? Am I willing to consider that there might be a way that exists outside of how I think it's supposed to be? I was just speaking with a woman this week, and she said, I don't know if freedom from my food addiction is possible, because I've tried everything. And I've gotten really, really good and really committed and like running every day and eating right and doing it all well and checking off the boxes. But then, you know, something comes up, and before long, I'm right back in the pattern again. And I said, I hear you. I really, really hear you. And here's the thing, is that is an example, because I hear this all the time, that is an example of an incomplete solution trying to solve a problem that you don't fully understand. See, the problem of food addiction is a deeper, more comprehensive problem than just diet and exercise, than just willpower, than just doing the right thing or following the fitness professionals or the fitness people and what they have to say, or following a particular diet plan. Is so much deeper than that. And until you actually get the full body, mind, spirit understanding of what the problem is, you can't actually get the body, mind, spirit solution. You can't get on that path. And so, you know, I shared with her, instead of using the tool of diet and exercise and then saying, okay, well, that didn't work, so therefore nothing's going to work and I'm never going to get this, perhaps there are tools and insights and supports that lie outside of your current paradigm. And perhaps if, instead of approaching this as I know what to do and I just don't do it, I must be lazy or stupid, perhaps it's, there's more for me to understand. There's more for me to explore. And putting on an attitude of curiosity, I don't know, and I want to find out. That opens you up to an entire world. The universe can actually rush to meet you in that moment, saying, oh my gosh, Here's a little breadcrumb of insight to take you to that next insight and that next step that can take you to your path of freedom. So first thing here is stop using the tools that got you to where you are. They're great tools. They just are not going to get you to that next level. Okay. The next insight here kind of follows off of that. And this is the idea of stepping into possibility. So again, if you feel like you've tried a bunch of different things before, or you thought you gave it your all in the past, or you just find that you're lazy, you made so many commitments to yourself, and then you seem to default into your old patterns, it's easy to start thinking, it just might not be possible for me. It just must not be possible for me. Something's wrong. I'm broken. It just won't work. That's nice, Deb, that worked for you. That's nice, that works for some of your clients. That's not going to work for me. And what I want to invite there are two things. I was just chatting with a woman about this earlier this week. So here's the thing, is that what I find when I actually go deeper with folks around this is that there's one of two things that's going on. The one idea is, well, what if I give my all? What if I dive in with both feet? What if I really say, okay, this is possible. I dive in with both feet, and then I give everything, and then I do get this new freedom. I do get this new lightness. I do get this new ease, and yet nothing changes in my life. What if nothing changes? What if the sadness or the heaviness or the depression or the not feeling okay inside of myself, like what if none of that changes? What if nothing changes and I've given everything? Then there's just no point. Then there's no point to living. You know, and this is a powerful, powerful place to be. And I oftentimes find that when we are in that conversation, it's because we are overly attaching to things in the outside world need to look a certain way for me to feel okay on the inside. And here's the thing, is that if you dive in with both feet, the very frequency, the very energy, the very vibration that you activate and catalyze by diving in with both feet transports you into a possibility that you didn't have before you took that dive. It's like if you want to get an image, like if you're standing on a diving board and it's like there's like infinite possibility over here, but you're standing on the diving board. As long as you're standing on the diving board, you don't actually have the power to live into what's possible. You don't, because you haven't taken that embodied action. You haven't said, okay, universe, okay, spirit, okay, source, okay, God, I'm giving everything to you. I am launching off. I am willing for my ego and all the things that I think, I'm willing for all of that to perish. I'm willing to dive into trust. Here we go. And if I fall flat on my face, so be it. And if I spread wings and fly, so be it, but I'm just gonna go for it. When we do that, when we get that attitude and we dive off that diving board, we take that leap. In the leap, we gain access to the power to do the thing that we weren't able to do before. The possibility becomes possible. When I'm speaking with a woman in a freedom embodied breakthrough session, and she's like, oh my gosh, I really want this. I really want this breakthrough. I really want this freedom. But I'm so afraid that I can't do it. By her actually saying, all right, I'm in. I'm doing this. I'm going all in. Let's do this. I know that by her going all in for herself and investing in herself in that moment is the exact same quality she is going to need that is going to allow her to have the very freedom and lightness and ease that she actually wants. She activates it, she catalyzes it in that moment. So that is so, so important to get, that it's actually in the embodied action of doing the thing that you gain the access and the possibility. And the other thing that I hear from folks, hey Ron, the other thing that I hear from folks is, well, what if my dreams do come true? What if this is actually the best thing that ever happened? What if now I really am free? What if now I really don't have this addiction or this obsession or this story going on? Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to put myself out there. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be visible. Oh my gosh, now I'm really scared. And so it can create this whole new level of fear. And so what I share with people at that point is, listen, you got to understand that all of this is a progression. It's tiny steps, one at a time. That you're not going to zip yourself up into a new skin suit, that you're going to feel free and light, and then you're going to walk out into the world and put yourself out there in this kind of raw, just getting to know yourself state. You're not going to do that. By the time you are ready to put yourself out there, you already feel a level of inner confidence that allows you to authentically put yourself out there without the fear of visibility. You're actually brimming over to share yourself and to shine your light in the world because you have authentically embodied the very transformation that you're speaking about. So, either way, what I want you to know is that freedom is possible. And whichever way your fear brain is going, fear of it not being possible, fear of it being possible, and then what, I want you to know that it is actually in taking that step, in taking the action, that all of the possibility comes into place. And so the one thing that I would share with you with this key right here is that the importance of setting aside everything that you think that you know about yourself, about what life is like, about what is possible. Set it all aside. What is truth will come back to you. But if you set it all aside, I promise you that you will be moved to a new place of possibility. You will. You just will. So, setting aside the old tools, setting aside what you think you know about who you are and what is possible, stepping into a new level of possibility. And then here's the next one. Being willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to be uncomfortable. If you are setting aside what you think you know about who you are and what is possible, if you are stepping into possibility that is outside of your current paradigm, so that is new, that is going to create a level of discomfort. And guess what? That is good. That is okay. I know personally, my whole relationship, my whole career in addiction had everything to do with not wanting to feel uncomfortable. Having an internal sense of discomfort and dis-ease drove me to seek a sense of ease and comfort in the moment. I did not want to feel uncomfortable anytime. Here's the thing though, is that we're talking about a different level of discomfort. There's the kind of discomfort when you're living so incongruently, when you're feeling like such a fraud, when you're not taking action, that creates all of this tension and anxiety going on inside of you. And it feels awful living inauthentically and out of alignment. That is different than the discomfort that comes when you are taking congruent, aligned action. But it's new and it's scary. Heck, every single time I go on for a Facebook Live, I get a little bit of nerves because it's just real time. This is just me. You know, like I don't know what words are going to come out, but this is just me sharing all of myself with all of you. It's vulnerable, it's visible, it leaves me open to judgment or criticism or I don't know what. And so I have to cultivate a deep sense of inner worth, of I love myself no matter what, of I love myself because I'm putting myself out there, no matter if it goes well or not, or if it's perfect or not, or if it lands with anyone or not, because that is the action that I'm committed to taking here today. That is uncomfortable. That is uncomfortable. And so if you want to grow into your next level, it is vital that you start to get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. And one of the ways to do that is to take action. I was speaking with a colleague earlier this week, and she said 100% of people who don't take action stay stuck. 100% of people who don't take action stay stuck. And so that action can be small. That action can be posting a comment on this video. That action can be setting up a clarity call with me. That action can be something small, something big. But I invite you to really check in with what your gut is telling you. Your gut is talking to you all the time. Your inner guidance is talking to you all the time. And there is something right now that has been talking to you like ticker tape constantly over and over again. And you're like, yeah, not so much over here. Yeah, I'm not ready for that over there. We all have it. We all have it. I could list like 5 or 6 things right now. So what I'm saying is that this is our continual invitation of life itself saying, are you willing to step into the short-term pain? I've got another mentor who says the short-term pain for the long-term gain, for the long-term pleasure, for the long-term freedom, for the long-term lightness, the long-term ease. Are you willing to do that? And if you are willing to do that, it starts by just taking action, just doing the next step. You don't have to take a massive, massive leap, just the next step that is illuminated in front of you. That is so powerful because guess what? Every transformation, every big, like when you see someone, you're like, oh my gosh, you look like a new person. Have you ever seen someone like that? Like you haven't seen them in 6 months or a year or whatever, and then all of a sudden you see them, you're like, you're like a different person. Maybe they got super in shape, or maybe they just, their face looks different. They look younger, they look happier, they're glowing. You're like, what is it? You know, and if they actually broke it down, they would probably describe, well, it was little baby commitments they made to themselves every single day. They showed up for those small little things. Transformation is not sexy. Transformation sounds sexy, but it is not sexy. It is filled with lots of little tiny micro commitments that you make to yourself every single day to wake up, to show up, to do the things that are a little bit less comfortable, but that are going to actually provide you the long-term gain, the long-term freedom, the long-term ease, the long-term pleasure, the long-term joy. And that is, it's like when you actually are experiencing that, you're like, oh my gosh, I would never have it any other way. And then it becomes less of, oh, this painful discomfort. Oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with this. It becomes more of, oh my gosh, who do I get to become on the other side of walking through this discomfort? Who do I get to become? That is what I feel. When I have a discomfort about hopping onto a Facebook Live or about hosting a live event or doing anything that can fill me with those little nerves of like, I don't know. You know, here's the thing is that I immediately think of you. I immediately think of, this isn't about me. This is about the service that I get to provide by showing up, by getting outside of my familiarity zone, by moving through the discomfort, and by saying, hey, here I am, I'm going to share, and hopefully it can be of service to you. And this is what we all get to do together. These are small things, and they are great, big, huge things. So I invite you, key number 3 is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and a huge part of that is taking action. Okay, Rose, so good to see you. Catherine, I'm so glad you're here with us. So here is the last one, and this is so, they are also important. This is so important though, and this is don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Here's the thing, is that taking action, being uncomfortable, I don't do that stuff in a vacuum. I don't do that stuff. I'm surrounded by mentors, by colleagues, by circles of women. I have a network of support around me. And so when I have a win, I have people to share that with. When I have a challenge, I have people to go to that with. I am constantly in that, and I cannot emphasize that enough. And here's the thing, is that when we want to do something courageous, when we want to step beyond our familiarity zone, when we want to step into a new level of freedom, of ease, of lightness, of that level of embodiment, because we know that we are here to embody a new level of hope for other people in the world. when we know all of that so much, it is so, so important that we also get that we don't have to forge that path by ourselves, that we actually can gain insight and wisdom from people who have gone before us, who can say, hey, here's some guidance about how to expedite that path. It took me 10 years, but it doesn't have to take you that long. I have a mentor who says an intelligent person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So, here it is, like, learn from the mistakes of others. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. You don't get an award for figuring it all out on your own. You really don't. And what I'll say further to that is that we actually can't, because here's the problem, is that we are living in our own delusions. And we don't know they're delusions, because for us, it's just reality. And so we need that outside reflection. And here's what is so, so important when you are in the conversation of asking for help or getting support or finding a mentor or finding a community. This is what you want to look for. You want to look for, hey, do you get me? Do you get me? Do you relate to me? Have you been through what I've been through? Have you experienced what I've experienced? So do you get me? Do you relate to me? Have you experienced what I've experienced? And have you seen what's on the other side? And can you guide me there? Can you guide me there? Can you show me how to be there? And here is the most important part of all of it. Can you guide me back to me and not make me dependent on you? That is what is so key, so important. Any type of support, any type of guidance, any type of mentorship, anytime you are asking for help and raising your hand, there might be some distinctions that you need along your path. There might be some things that you don't know, right? Because you're entering into this new conversation with, I don't know, I'm open, show me, guide me, teach me. And yet, all of that guidance, all of that teaching should be guiding you back to you, helping you get free from the things that are obscuring your access to your own inner guidance. Because that ultimately is what's going to allow you to have lasting freedom. You can't have lasting freedom if you have to keep on calling somebody else to say, well, what about this? And what do you think about this? And I think I'm going to go into this relationship, and I think that I'm going to go eat this. And what about, like, that's not free. That's not free. And so when you are considering that, you want to say, does this person see me? Does this person get me? Has this person been where I've been, and have they moved through it? And can they show me how to do the same? And are they guiding me back to me? So, so important. So those 4 things right there, I hope that you implement even just one of them. Even just one of them can put you on the path to changing your story. And if you want any help with any of this, I am in the business of helping people change their story, release whatever is not serving you anymore, release the addictions and the obsessions that are holding back, so that you truly can live embodied freedom, so that you can authentically shine your light, so you can help the people that you're here to help. And if that at all calls to you, then please hop on my calendar. It would be such an honor, an absolute honor. You can go to getsupport.today. You can set up a clarity call with me, getsupport.today. I'll put the link in the comments. If you want to get some clarity around your relationship with food, you can go to freefromfood.today. Either one of those links will get you onto my calendar, and I'm so, so happy to get you started. So again, thank you for taking this time out, spending it with me. Thank you for taking this time for you. I hope this was valuable for you, and I will connect more with you very, very soon. Bye for now. Mwah.